To be with the results. Pat?
Big afternoon for the Columbia Crimson Tide. You know, they went to the state championship game some 30 years ago. They lost in the finals that time. Different outcome this time. About midway through the season, you know, Columbia head coach Gary Sutton announced his resignation effective the end of the year. He cited outside interference as the main reason. How ironic that his players should now present him with a state championship for a going-away present. Jim Stone now with the account of an end to a Cinderella season for the Crimson Tide.
Winburg, the District 5 champs, jumped out to an early 9-2 lead with guard Tracy Horner scoring 6 of those 9 points. Columbia's Mike Whistler, playing on an injured ankle, came off the bench and helped ignite the Crimson Tide. They tied the game at 16 on this shot and led 24-23 at the half. The Tide increased the lead to 4 at 29-25 in the third quarter on this bucket by center Andy Farringer. Winburg came back to tie it at 29 with Brian Horner scoring. Columbia led 30-29 after 3 quarters when senior guard and captain Brian Smith took charge of the ball game. Smith scored 9 straight points in the fourth quarter and was truly awesome. He personally gave Columbia a 38-31 lead with 5 minutes to go. They went on to beat Winburg 49-43 to win their first state championship ever.
I told Brian Smith when he walked over here in the fourth quarter, I said, Brian, it's senior time. And Brian responded like a senior. And that's the way he's done it all year. Our other kids, Chris Fowle stepped in there, did a magnificent job off the bench, leading our offense. All 7 of our kids did a super job. I'm just so happy for him, I can't describe it.
Have you silenced your critics?
Geez, I hope so. 5 years ago when I was hired, Mr. Kreiser told me to put Columbia back on the map as far as boys basketball. I hope we've done that.
For Gary Sutton and his Crimson Tide of Columbia, a dream come true. The Cinderella story is complete. Columbia State AA champs. At Hershey Park Arena, Jim Stone, Sports Center 8.
It will be interesting to see now if Columbia tries to get Coach Sutton to change his mind about resigning. We'll have more on the Columbia victory later on in the newscast. Right now, there's a big celebration going on at Columbia High School for the state champs. And we'll have more on that tonight on the late report.
Well, you could certainly tell that coach was excited, as an understatement.
That's right.
Thanks, Pat.
Accomplishment this was for the Columbia boys to win a state title. Last night, York Catholic won a state championship. They were unbeaten. I think a lot of people expected them to win. Columbia lost 10 games during the regular season, so I think a state championship was something that was not expected. If you missed it at the top of the show, Columbia is the boys' AA state hoop champion. The Crimson Tide winning their first ever state title over a Winburg team from District 5 that had lost just 1 game coming into today. Now, one of the keys for Columbia's win is that they shut down big Paul Romanchuk. They also got him in foul trouble early. He picked up his 3rd right there as Mike Whistler scored the 3-point play. The other key to the ballgame was the play of Brian Smith. He was simply outstanding. 9 straight points in the fourth quarter. He carried the Tide on his back down the stretch. And following his outstanding performance, he talked with our Jim Stone.
Every time, fourth quarter, and we're in a situation like we were in, it was time for me to just take control. And, you know, I did it.
Greatest moment of your life?
Excellent. One of the best. I knew we'd do it.
Okay, now on the girls'